So I guess you could say he was it before it was cool, I guess. But so he's the president of the Continental Congress, and then they have the Constitutional Convention where they create the Bill of Rights and what the role of government is going to be. And so he's there. He and Francis Lightfoot Lee, they both have differing opinions as to, even though they were together on everything else, they even protested in Congress together and etc. They actually had different opinions about how the federal government was going to be put together, whether it was more federalism or whether it was more liberty centric. And so the brothers kind of conflicted on that, even though they were together on just about everything else. And so they both architected the Bill of Rights, and that was one of the things that Richard Henry Lee was insisting that they have, because he wanted limited government. And then we go all the way down, and generations later, we have Robert E. Lee. Now you can see here that we have Harry Lighthorse, Lighthorse Harry Lee. I get him confused. Who fought as well in War of 1812? Was that right?
Well, he fought in the Revolution.
That's
He
right.
fought. He
Oh,
fought in the
yeah, you
Revolution.
had mentioned that earlier.
Decorated.
Good. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And then after the Revolution was over, he eventually was the father of who we now know as Robert E. Lee. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we have Richard Henry Lee, and we've had this conversation like 5 or 6 times already. So I'm kind of like going, okay, let's bring everybody to where we've been. So
Well, we had talked about how with Richard Henry Lee and Francis Lightfoot Lee, how both of them combined, along with the rest of Congress, they inspired everyone else to be able to fight for the revolution. So they got the courage from the Congress in order to fight against Europe and the British Navy. And I mean, think about how outnumbered they were. Congress themselves weren't able to fight necessarily because, I mean,
right.
they're older, so give them a break, sure, whatever. But they encouraged their family members, they encouraged all of the people who wanted their freedom to fight in the American Revolution. And I think that was what the armies really needed, because I know Washington at the time was even struggling, and their troops were depleting, if you remember correctly.
Yep.
When they were drafting the Declaration of Independence, there was a lot of turmoil and issues.
So, lack of everything, lack of food, lack of money.
Exactly.
People to fight. And the signers really did fight. I mean, they defended their homes. I mean, some of them lost their homes, lost their fortunes, defending their families. They each kind of fought in different ways, and as things tend to go in this world, it was not equally shared among all of them in terms of what they lost. Some lost more than others. The Lees were able to keep Stratford Hall, was never captured. The British did try, and they were actually repelled back by Richard Henry Lee and Lightfoot Lee, but yes, it was definitely an act of courage that signing of the Declaration of Independence, and it fortunately led enough people to sign up and fight under Washington, and enough of the population, not very many, but enough of the population to support them. And the French came along too. Without the French, not sure how it would have all been pulled off. And the combination of all of that eventually led, in 1887 or 1881 to the end of the war.
Right. So the Lee family to me is really great, because this family, like the Lees, had amassed a massive fortune through generations back. Richard the First came. He was a self-made man, but he still came. And started the tobacco plantation and had amassed this massive wealth. But they had the Lees were everywhere. Like you had Lees in the House of Burgesses. Richard Henry Lee started there. Lightfoot Lee was now in Continental Congress, and then you had other Lees